original Easter story in a nutshell, real fast, okay? All right. According to the ancient historian Josephus, Nimrod, the king of Babylon, was punished for his rebellion at the Tower of Babel by Noah's son Shem. His body was cut into many pieces and sent to the surrounding communities as a warning against idolatry. Nimrod's wife, Semiramis, the queen of Babylon, she claimed that he did not actually die, but rather ascended into heaven and had become the sun god. She, of course, being the wife of the sun, had to make herself into a goddess. I mean, that's just automatic, Now, Semiramis taught that the moon was a goddess that went through a 28-day cycle and ovulated when it was a full moon. She then claimed that she came down from the moon in a giant moon egg that fell into the Euphrates River and hatched open, and she came out the bare-breasted, Ishtar. This incident, according to her story, supposedly happened at the time of the first full moon after the spring equinox. Does that ring any bells out there? Just checking. Semiramis then became known as Ishtar, and her moon egg became known as Ishtar's egg. Ishtar, a.k.a. Semiramis, she claimed that she had become pregnant then by the rays of the sun, and then later she had this little baby. They named him Tammuz. Now here's where we meet the little Ishtar bunny. Tammuz was noted to be especially fond of rabbits. He really liked the little bunny rabbits, and they became sacred in the ancient religion. I mean, after all, Tammuz was considered to be the kid of the new sun god, now named Baal. Tammuz, like his supposed daddy Nimrod, became a really good hunter. Later one day, when Tammuz grew up and was 40 years old, he was actually killed by a wild boar while out hunting. And Ishtar, being the eternal sex goddess of the sun, used the rabbit that Tammuz likes so much in her religion as a sign of sexual desire and fertility. Now, rabbits are still a sign of sexual desire and fertility to this day. That's pretty much common knowledge. We all know about that. Now, Easter, by the time her son Tammuz was killed, was worshipped as the mother of God and the queen of heaven. She continued to build her mystery religion and proclaimed this 40-day period of time of sorrow each year prior to the anniversary of the death of her son Tammuz. During this time of 40 days, no meat was to be eaten. If you want more on this weeping for Tammuz, you can read about it and what God has to say about it. In Ezekiel chapter 8, he kind of condemns it a little bit. Ever since Semiramis instituted her Babylonian mystery religion all across the world, every year on the first Sunday after the first full moon after the spring equinox, a sunrise mass or sacrifice was made to Ishtar, in which the priest of Easter would impregnate virgins on the altar at sunrise. Those virgins then became pregnant, and a year later, that next coming spring around the time of Easter, those infants were usually about 3 months old, and they would be sacrificed on the altar of Easter, and the priests would then dye Ishtar's eggs in their blood. You'd think that this practice would be dead, but it's not dead. We all know that that practice is not dead. Still very much alive and well today. The March 21st sacrifice itself to the goddess Ostara, which is another name for Easter, is still on the Luciferian and Satanic calendar of occult holidays, even to this day. Now, these sick practices are strongly condemned by the God of the Hebrew Scriptures anyways. As even the children of Israel, they got deceived into doing it for a time. But now we would never fall for something like that. I mean, after all, we've got it all figured out, don't we?